Hello and welcome to BikeWale and to the first ride review of this motorcycle, the Triumph Speed 400. Now this is your cheapest ticket to be part of Triumph Motorcycles' family. But why is this motorcycle so affordable? What features does it carry? What powers it? And how does it feel to ride? I'm going to tell you everything about it in this video. But before we go any further, you know the drill. Like, share, comment, subscribe and click on the bell icon so you are notified every time we upload a new video. Let's start with the design, and that's because it's one of the USPs of this motorcycle. And the first thing that's instantly evident is its resemblance to the higher displacement speed twin motorcycles such as the Speed Twin 900 and the Speed Twin 1200. But unlike the 900 and the 1200, this motorcycle uses a single cylinder motor. More on that in the later part of the review, but let's get done with the design of this motorcycle. So the neo-retro styling is emphasized by these curvy shape elements on this motorcycle, like a round headlight at the front. You've got these round shaped bar and mirrors, and these come as standard, by the way. These are not aftermarket accessories, but these are standard on the Speed 400. The Scrambler 400, it comes with a conventional kind of mirror setup, but this one gets bar and mirrors. Then there's this teardrop shaped fuel tank, which looks really beautiful in this dual tone finish, and this grey contrasting line that runs in between it, and an asymmetrically mounted fuel filler cap that gets a chrome finish and a very neat attention to detail in the form of Triumph logo on it. Then on the sides, you've got this triangular shape for the side panel along with the Speed 400 branding, and it has got a nice and a 3D feel to it, which adds to the premiumness of the overall package. Then at the back, there's this single piece pillion grab rail and a sleek tail light, which is really beautiful to look at. It's got a minimalistic look, but it still looks stylish and very appealing. The overall build quality is very nice. If you look at the paint quality, the overall fit and finish of all the panels, it looks very nice and promising. And if you exclude the plastic bits around the instrument cluster, there are very little things to complain about on the Speed 400. This motorcycle is available in 3 colors, and the unit that you see on your screens is a Carnival Red and Phantom Black paint theme. This, in my honest opinion, looks the most stylish on the list. Then the Caspian Blue with Storm Grey color option looks bold and likable as well, while the Phantom Black and Storm Grey is ideal for people who prefer subtle paint themes. While the overall build quality is good, there are some elements that could have been better. The plastic around the instrument cluster, the rubber cover for the USB charger, and the 2-piece toolkit are clear indicators of cost cutting. The toolkit, for example, is insufficient to do basic jobs such as adjusting the chain slack, and you might have an issue in the long term. Now that we are done with the design of this motorcycle, let's talk about the mechanical specifications. And as I told you just a while ago, this motorcycle, unlike its higher displacement siblings such as the Speed Twin 900 and the Speed Twin 1200, uses a single cylinder motor. This is powered by a 398.15cc single cylinder liquid cooled engine that makes 39.5 bhp and 37.5 Newton meters of peak torque. This engine is linked to a 6-speed gearbox, and I'm going to fire up the motorcycle for you to hear the exhaust note. Now I'm going to keep it at idle, then rev it closer to its mid revs, and then take it closer to its red line for you to hear the exhaust note. So that's how it sounds at idle. It's got a throaty exhaust note. That's closer to its mid revs, which is around 5,000 to 6,000 RPM. And that's how it sounds closer to its red line. The motor delivers a linear torque delivery with nearly 80% of the peak torque available from just 3000 rpm. However, things get really exciting in the higher rev range, and 6 to 9000 rpm is the sweet spot to ride this motorcycle. This also makes for good highway characteristics, and the Speed 400 can cruise at 100 km per hour at just 6000 rpm. We also got to explore the performance of this engine without violating any traffic rules, as we managed to clock a speedometer indicated top speed of 170 km per hour at Bajaj's Chakan test track. Notably, while the refinement levels are fine for the most of the part, there are significant buzz from the foot pegs from 6000 rpm onwards. Then, the gearbox feels crisp, and we did not suffer any shifting issues during the first ride experience. The clutch has a light feel as well, but it isn't the lightest unit that we have tested in the recent past. Still, it isn't cumbersome either, and one can get used to the setup very quickly. The engine performance is complemented by the braking setup, which includes single discs on both the ends. Now this setup delivers a confidence-inspiring initial bite and a progressive feeling. Meanwhile, the suspension is tuned to deliver a comfortable ride quality, and the upside-down front forks and the gas-charged rear monoshock irons out most of the undulations on the road very efficiently. Still, it isn't too soft to affect the handling department, and the Speed 400 feels sufficiently agile when pushing from one side to another or while filtering through bumper-to-bumper traffic. What also aids bumper-to-bumper traffic maneuvers is the short turning radius, as the recesses at the front of the fuel tank allow more room for the forks to turn in. The electronics on this motorcycle include a dual-channel ABS and a traction control system. While you cannot turn the ABS off on the Speed 400, the traction control can be switched off easily if the rider so wishes. Further, it gets full LED lighting, a Type-C USB charger, and a semi-digital instrument cluster that comprises an analog speedometer and an LCD screen. This compact display shows information such as a tachometer, fuel gauge, gear position indicator, an odometer, true trip meters, fuel economy indicator, distance to empty, and a digital clock. Now let's talk about the ergonomics and how easy is it to manage this motorcycle when moving it around, say in tight parking spots. At 176 kilograms, it's not exactly lightweight, but it's not very heavy either, and it's very easy to lift it up from the side stand and say move it around in a tight parking spot. You can push it forward easily or even pull it back without putting it a lot of effort. You would have to use a little bit of muscle power, but it's not exactly what I would call taxing, and it is really easily manageable. What also helps this motorcycle is the seat height of 790 mm. That is quite low as compared to the Scrambler 400 that has a seat height of 835 mm. So with the 790 mm of seat and a narrow front section, it is very easy to mount this motorcycle and flat foot very comfortably on the ground, which I can do at my height of 5 feet 10 inches, and I still have a comfortable amount of bend in my knee. So this should help even shorter riders, say someone who is 5 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 7 inches tall, to manage this motorcycle very easily and with confidence. Then to the ergonomics. Now the Speed 400 comes with a flat handlebar that is relatively tall set. Well, not as tall as the Scrambler 400, but it is relatively tall set. So you sit upright on this motorcycle. Then there's a neutrally positioned rider foot peg that adds a bit of sportiness to the overall ergonomics. Now while the rider's triangle is very likable, very comfortable, the only complaint that I have is the position of the pillion footrest, which if you sit like I do with my toe on the rider's foot peg, it tends to nudge against your heel, and that can be bothersome for a few riders. But apart from that, this motorcycle delivers a very nice and a comfortable rider's triangle, and you'll really enjoy it while riding in the city. So, should you buy the Triumph Speed 400? Well, this has to be the easiest buying advice that I have given in the recent past, and you should definitely consider getting one of these home. Why do I say that? Well, it's got an appealing design, a very likable engine, and service interval of 16,000 kilometers. A very likable ride quality, comfortable rider's ergonomics, and everything about this motorcycle really works in its favor. The only downside that I can mention over here are the vibrations in the really high rev bands that are evident from the foot pegs and the awkward position of the pillion footrest. But save for that, this motorcycle is a very likable product. The only problem that some people might have would be in terms of the sales and service network, but Bajaj Auto and Triumph Motorcycles are expanding their dealer network to address that issue. So this is a must buy in my books. Till next time, this is Suvil signing off.